Zach, let's move on to story number 2. We got our favorite app, TikTok. Zach, the latest trend in this satanic app. TikTok users are shaving down their teeth with nail files. Dentists say it could cause permanent damage. We got a picture here of this new trend. Wow. DIY beauty hacks are like hair dyeing, nail art, and even homemade bathroom products aren't uncommon on TikTok, but a new and disturbing body modification trend has dentists flustered. People are grinding their uneven teeth down with nail files and uploading the videos to the app. Zach, this is just another terrible trend going on.
Another terrible. What is wrong with people, man? I try to defend social media so much as possible, but you assholes are just making it so difficult for me. This is just like the last season of Game of Thrones where I tried to defend it all season, and the writers of that show just made it so difficult for me.
Yeah, there's no. Well, I mean, it wasn't terrible in my opinion, but yes, I agree. It became harder to defend. Well, I mean, they had a story left unfinished by the author and had to cobble together a rushed ending because the author refuses to write anymore. So that became a problem.
Yeah.
Anyways. So yeah, Zach, dentists say this is not a good idea to file your teeth, to wear away the enamel in the hopes for, one, so you can get likes on your video. That's not a good idea. And number 2.
It's all for, it used to be, now I'm so out of the social loop at this point because I'm getting old, but it used to be do it for the Vine. I don't know if you remember. That's what everyone said. When Vine was big, it was do it for the Vine. Now it's I guess do it for the TikTok, I guess.
Oh my God.
No,
we're still trying to figure out what's going on with this TikTok app, Zach. It was going to be banned and then not, and they're still trying to work out a deal. I guess Trump wants TikTok to be majority owned by American companies, and that's kind of the fight. There's some deal with maybe Walmart and Oracle that's going on. That gets us into the app itself. You found an interesting story from a Reddit user who reverse engineered the app and found a lot of disturbing stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, granted, this was Reddit, so I don't know how much you can truly believe anything on Reddit. But this guy said he's a software engineer, and he reverse engineered the app, and he also kind of reverse engineered Instagram and Facebook and a bunch of other apps.
Yeah.
And he said the amount of data mining that was on TikTok was just outrageous. He compared it to malware. He said it's basically a malware that you're letting your kids install right on their phones.
Yeah. And I got a couple of great quotes here. One is this: TikTok is a data collection service that is thinly veiled as a social network. Yeah. If there is an API to get information on you, your contacts, your device, well, they're using it. So they basically, and this actually was one of the concerns from the Trump administration, is privacy and data being sent basically to China. They're getting all this data on teenagers, and it seems like TikTok essentially scrapes your phone for all of your uses, and this data could is probably being made its way to the Chinese government, which is in effect, I mean, if you want to reduce it to that level, is basically TikTok is an espionage arm of the Chinese government.
Yeah. I guess what I think about is what does China do with all that data? How do they use that against us?
I don't know. But I mean, that's a good question. I don't know the privacy concerns about, say, Facebook collecting your data. Well, one, it should be yours. You didn't necessarily give the app permission to have all your data, particularly when many of these users are underage. They didn't ask the parents, "Hey, can I have all the activity that your kid does on their phone and where they go?" I don't know what China's doing with it, but it's probably not a good thing.
Probably not. They're trying to figure out who to send seeds to in the mail is what they're doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out who's going to plant the seeds that they send.
Now that it also it pings your GPS location, gets all the information from all the websites you visit. I mean, that can't be good, right? And then they can let's see. Sorry. Uh, where's this money quote here? Oh, I like this one about, and it speaks to social media in general, particularly, but for TikTok in particular. It says they provide users with a taste of virality to entice them to stay on the platform. Your first TikTok post will likely garner quite a bit of likes, regardless of how good it is. Assuming you get past the initial moderation queue, if that's still a thing, most users end up chasing the dragon. So the app itself is
Like heroin.
a little fraudulent,
Yeah.
we'll say, that gives you fake likes to give you a false sense of your importance potentially and your popularity to keep you going on the app, right?
Yeah. I know we talked about The Social Dilemma on Netflix. You have not seen it yet, have you?
Not yet.
So one of the really interesting things that they talked about in that documentary was that Gen Z is the first generation to have smartphones and social media while they are in middle school. And they had shown all this correlation to depression and mental illness and suicide and all these like really sad and scary facts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what scared me the most about how like the youth, how it's like affecting kids. Like we're talking about TikTok, kids are filing down their teeth. You know what I mean?
Likes.
For likes, exactly. That's the scariest part for me. I don't give a shit about advertising. Like if Facebook has data and they want to like feed me an ad for something that I know I'm going to like, I don't care about that. Well, I care about like how like it's negatively affecting the youth and like how mentally it's changing who we are as humans, right?
Yeah, I mean those likes are in a way a bit of a drug, aren't they?
Yeah.
And you get kids hooked on it, and then what happens if maybe suddenly you're no longer popular enough, or the TikTok videos you're putting out now aren't getting likes, or you get hate? Do you become then depressed about it? It is a weird phenomenon, and this idea of it really messes with our brains, this kind of a thing. And young kids are not equipped to deal with it. I don't even think people our age are really even equipped to deal with the way. I mean, I would say I'm addicted to Twitter, absolutely. It's just like a reflex. I just check my feed or check the people I follow and stuff like that, and I just sit there and I scroll through Twitter for a longer time than I want to admit. So I wonder about that, and I also wonder about how much of all of this stuff that's viral, how legitimate is any of it? I mean, we just have this example here that they manipulate your first TikToks to get you to stay on. I mean, say a TikTok with 1 million views or a bunch of or so many thousand likes. How many of those are real? I mean, this makes me wonder too about other social media like retweets, views on YouTube.
Yeah. So like, are the numbers on our YouTube account real, Dave?
Maybe they're fake.
Yeah, they're all fake.
When you see something go viral, like how true is it? What is there something on the back end that's promoting certain things more than others, and how legitimate is this stuff? At this point, I don't think I'm dubious or that this stuff is legitimate.
Yeah, and that's a good point, especially if you're getting fake likes for things like. It's kind of similar to when we talked about the drill rap thing. Like, what if this whole teeth filing thing started because someone was like, "Hey, I want to make it look like I'm filing down my teeth. That'll be funny." What if they're not really doing it? They're just pretending to do it, right? And then that gets a ton of likes and goes viral, and someone sees it and they go, "Hey, I guess we can actually start filing down our teeth now. This person did it, even though they really didn't do it."
So
you know what I mean?
And also, going back a bit, there was what they were licking toilets and coughing on each other, and then one of them got COVID and died, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't that right? I mean, it actually becomes dangerous. So I don't know what to do here, but I mean, I think a first step is to not allow this weird stuff going on, and getting data from teenagers, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know that it being in U.S. hands is necessarily better than Chinese hands. I don't think any of it is really all that good.
Absolutely not.
Last thing on this, the last little bit that this guy found says, there's also a ton of creepy old men who have direct access to children on the app. I've personally seen and reported some really suspect stuff. 40 to 50-year-old men getting 8 to 10-year-old girls to do duets with them to sing sexually suggestive songs. These videos are posted quickly, and it's potential for creepy people to prey on young girls and boys.
Yeah, it's just not. I mean, if TikTok gets shut down, there'll be another app to fill its void in a couple months.
There will. But maybe something potentially not as manipulative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Maybe if it's something American made and people have seen the controversy around TikTok, maybe they'll be able to take a step back and say, okay, this is what TikTok got wrong. Let's take everything that it did right and build something brand new.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I support any, some kind of, I don't mind regulation of social media when it comes to this stuff, particularly minors. It's all got to be on, there's nothing wrong with an app per se, but yeah, it's got to be on the up and up. And, people doing, do you want to call this self-harm? Because it seems like a lot of the stuff that, not all the stuff, there's a lot of silly dancing videos that go viral and they're completely innocent. But a lot of stuff like this that does go viral might qualify as self-harm to me. It might require some moderation, saying like licking the toilet seat, stuff like that. Would you think maybe things that go viral that can be tied to that like Tide Pods, remember that?
Oh, yeah. It can. But if you're talking about self-harm, go back to when did Jackass start? When did CKY start? You know what I mean? The whole thing of self-harm has been around for a long time, especially when it's humor involved in it.
Yeah. Well, the fight over TikTok, that's the battle of the century, Zach.